What would your life look like if you had the ability to adhere to every single plan, every single dream, every single goal that you have set forth for yourself from the time that you were 10 years old to however you are now? What would your life look like?
And that limiting belief more than likely happened when you were a kid, and it's limiting you in your entire life. And it's not just limiting you financially, it's not. And it's certainly limiting you emotionally. And it's not even, that's the worst part. The worst part is that belief that's not even true. It's a mind virus that you have that was injected into you by some experiences or experience as a young person.
Most people are familiar with the reframing. Reframing is you came up with a meaning and it's not so good, and so now you're gonna change it, or you wanna do it with someone else. You're gonna influence someone and they have this negative frame and you're gonna reframe them. That's a lot harder than pre-framing.
Many of us are pretty comfortable in our life. We've got a reasonably good income. The mortgage is paid. There's food in the fridge. We've got a nice warm bed to sleep in. And everything seems to be floating along just fine. And you know, a person in that position could very easily think, why would I want to do anything to change this? Well, we have found that if your life is not going in one direction, it absolutely, by law, must be moving in another direction.
Change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of making a change.
I think that's the basis of most change. Either you have to have a reward that incentivizes you, it's the away towards or away. It's either we're going away from pain or we're going towards pleasure. And I think a lot of people are really looking for that passion that's going to be towards, but I think early days, and I talk a lot about this, but like if you are angry, use it. If you are sad, use it. Because like, what else are you going to do with it? You might as well let it help you, or it uses you.
That mind virus, what it's going to cost you is ever knowing you, ever meeting you.
Life without those challenges, it's just existence. Don't just exist, go live. Eventually, inaction will cost you. Just get up, move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. Move towards that challenge and go attack it. And you may be successful and you may not be successful, but you will be better.
Working on yourself, talking to yourself, that's so very important. Overcoming the negative conversation, that inner dialogue that's going on all the time. Even when you don't want it to be there. You can't stop yourself right now from thinking. You can't do it. It's going on. And so learning how to empower yourself, part of doing that is standing up to yourself.
If you develop the ability to adhere, and you develop discipline, and you practice it over and over and over again, there's literally nothing that you can't become, create, or build if you win day by day by day.
So it's not the experiences of our lives that dictate where we're going. I know more people that have built a relationship with God than I do that have a relationship with themselves. And I think God wants you to have a relationship with Him and yourself. And the only way I believe we get to know ourselves is by experiencing life and not having the same experience over and over again. You already know that person and you already want to get better. You already want to grow. And so if you're gonna decide in your life to grow, these are the changes you need to make. And I believe that you were born to do something great with your life.
Winning in the game of power is learning, is constantly learning and adapting to the situation and getting better and better and better at the game. Winning feels like I'm not involved in all these emotional bullshit that people throw at you. I'm not involved in all this politicking because I'm better at playing the game. And so because of that, my mind is now free to be creative and do things that are actually important.
You are the star of your show. You are the director. You're writing the script. And you will determine whether your life is a smash office hit or flop.
Most people don't focus on their mindset. Most people are focused on exterior factors. They think that everything that happens to them is by chance. And they don't realize that a lot of the things that happen to them are things that they attract.
Many of us have established a comfort zone in our lives. We're just coasting along, taking the line of least resistance, just getting by. This is a very common and understandable attitude. We've all worked hard to get to where we are, and it may seem a very good place to be. The problem with this is that once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, and risking, we actually stop growing.
Why do we do what we do and where is it taking us? Like, what's the GPS that's on the end of our decisions and our choices every single day? Like, when the clock stops, when it's all said and done, like, what would they say about us? What would they say about our legacy? Like, will an extension of us still be in the world because of the work that we once did?
What come out your mouth is what's gonna come back to you. It's the law of attraction. I can't meet nobody cause of COVID. You're not. All men are dogs. You finna meet all of them. I never get nobody. You're not. I can't lose this weight. You sure ain't. I'm gonna get fit this year. Strong possibility. I'll never be rich. Promise you won't. I'm gonna be rich one day. Strong possibility. That's how it works, man. It's the law of attraction. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it or adhere to it. It is the law of attraction. It will never change.
Because you attract the things that you are, and you are what you do, and you do what you think about. Most people don't understand the power of the mind. That's why they haven't tapped into the power of the mind. And the power of the mind is one very simple thing: the ability to direct your attention towards a specific given objective, and then to have the willpower to pursue it.
When you're working on something you want to achieve, you have got to stand up to that voice. You've got to sell yourself every day on your abilities, on what you're doing, on the goal that you want to reach. You've got to sell yourself every day.
The comfort zone frame of mind is settling for what we are today. That may be fine today, but without continued growth, we are now all we are ever going to be.
You get in your head, you're dead. I think when I say you have to have the head and heart connected, right? It's like, why don't people transform? Because they're in their head about it. They're thinking it through. They think that if I understand this, then it'll just happen. That's absurd. If you're good at something, you've trained it into yourself. But like, you look at somebody like Steph Curry, and you see this guy, shoot the ball from almost half court, trumping on the side of his thing, and he doesn't even look. He turns around and just waves because he knows it's in already, and there's swish, and the crowd goes crazy. And people look at that and go, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's the greatest three-point shooter in history. There's no one like him. But what they don't pay attention to is that isn't like a little gift. He shoots 500 shots every single day, never less than that, 7 days a week, for more than 15 years. His 15-year professional career. He's been doing it since before he was in college. His dad really trained him. So think of that, 3,500 shots a week, 168,000 shots in a year, 2.52 million shots in his 15-year NBA career, so he can make 3,600 shots. Not even 0.1%. I tell people, you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private.
According to your level of belief, it will manifest itself in what you're doing. Whatever we have right now, whatever we're demonstrating in our lives, is a result of what we believe subconsciously that we deserve. And part of increasing that belief level is that you have got to convince yourself every day.
Winning feels like you have independence and freedom and room to maneuver.
But fear and anger hand in hand were my big motivators in the beginning. Maybe that's from self-doubt. I would say that I was very certain. I was always certain that I wasn't going to stop. I didn't know whether I would succeed. I thought it was probable, but I did know I wasn't going to stop. And so for me, that was like enough to get me going.
I want to be this. It could be an accomplished musician. You could become that. I want to build an amazing company. You could become that. I want to build an amazing relationship. You could do that. There's literally nothing you fucking can't do if you can develop a plan and then adhere to it. It's not that people don't know what to do, it's that they can't fucking do it.
Enjoy life. It's life is too short to get bogged down, to be discouraged, or you have to keep moving. You have to keep going. Put one foot in front of the other, smile, and just keep on rolling.
The difference is, how do you look at it? How do you approach it? How do you deal with it? How do you admit it and see it for what it is? And then what do you do about it? What do you do about it? You cry about it? You mope about it? You drink about it? You sleep around about it? You get mad and get in fights about it? You just hang around? Just turn the world out? Just zombie about it? You fry yourself with marijuana about it? You say, Dewayne, I'm sad. Dude, that's a part of life. You think you're the only man on this planet that's sad? Say, Dewayne, I'm going through depression. Well, welcome to the world. Welcome to the rest of us.
The world is listening, just like the phone, to what you're saying. God would love to hear your prayers for where you want to go in your life. God would love to bless your life. But you've got to be consciously talking to him about it, consciously talking to yourself about it, constantly changing the way you live your life and your standards and your habits and the way you speak. And when you do that, your life begins to transform. Most of us are being held back by some limiting belief.
Everybody else quits when things get hard. Everybody else quits when they get sick, or they have an excuse, or they get in a funk, or they get, whatever. If you're able to operate even when things are hard, you can't be fucked with.
Your excuses will destroy you and take everything that you ever wanted from you if you let them. Because when you look around at your life and you look around at your job and your financial situation and your relationship and your physical health, and when you look at all those things and all the problems that you may have with those things, and you say, the reason I have all those problems is because of me, that can hurt. That can sting.
You can find joy in work if you decide to do it. On one hand, if your dream causes you so much pain, then you will quit what you're doing and do it. And if it doesn't cause you enough pain that you're not pursuing it, or that you don't, like if you don't feel like you're in a cage right now, then maybe you're not in a cage. And maybe you just need to like the life you have.
But the responsibility is supposed to be yours. And if you can't do it, you scratch, claw, and even die trying.
If you're in a comfort zone, beware. The danger of a comfort zone is that it doesn't hurt and it might even feel good. Many take that to mean it's a good place to be, but it's not. A comfort zone may be what is holding you back from real growth, real accomplishment, and your potentially exciting and rewarding future.
I don't believe like everything's meant to be. I think situations are meant to be, and then it's our job to choose how we're going to use them or be used by them, right? I think that's the difference. But I think, there's nothing to forgive. I know there's nothing, like people say this, but you have so much to forgive. F that, forgive. There's nothing to forgive. I mean, it's like if I get to a deeper truth, a deeper spiritual truth, a soulful truth, it's all like soul contracts. Like, so we're all here for something more than ourselves. And it's not until you realize that you stop the childhood thing of, I need to forgive people, or I need to, maybe you want to think about what you want other people you want them to forgive you for, because we all screw up. We all do stupid things. We all do things we're not proud of at different times. The secret is, do you do something about it, or do you just ruminate or beat yourself up or pretend it isn't there?
I just want people to never allow life to make them forget why they do what they do, right? To never allow life to rob you of your passion, to never allow life to rob you of your joy, your peace. Not only do you owe it to yourself, you owe it to those that you're connected to.
It's going to be harder than you think to get to the next level. You're going to have to be more mentally tough than you realize. The people that win in life, they outwork everybody, but they are mentally tougher. And they're mentally tougher because they build a cocoon around themselves of the right triggers when things happen, that I'm built for this. Someone said this to me, they dismissed me, I'm going to prove them wrong. Someone was this way and mistreated me, they're going to regret that someday when I go win.
If you frame a personal challenge as an opportunity to overcome and improve yourself, these things that seem so horrible are actually very positive components of your existence, and they're going to make you better.
It doesn't matter if you're stressed. It doesn't matter if you're hurt. It doesn't matter if you're upset. It doesn't matter if you're frustrated. If your discipline is on point and your mental toughness on point, you're going to be able to execute in spite of the situation being that way, and you're going to move forward whether you feel good or not. And once you can move forward whether you feel good or not, nobody can fuck with you.